Yep. Meeting order. Welcome everyone. Sorry, calling the meeting to order. Welcome everyone to the Kaimuki Neighborhood Board Number 4 regular meeting of August 20th, 2025. It is now 6:30 p.m. So I'll ask our neighborhood assistant, Curtis Hayashi, to call the roll, please.
Okay, calling the roll call. Kang,
Present.
Logue,
Here.
Otoza, Hara, Aguilera. Aguilera appears to be online. Gardner. Gardner. Online. Okay. Ornest, Kogel, Mandrick,
Here.
Abe, and Ho. Absent. Chair, you have quorum with 10 members.
Okay, did you call Calvin Hara? Okay, great. Okay, terrific. Thanks very much. We have quorum. The first item of business is the monthly report from the Honolulu Fire Department. Sir, mind coming up there? Thank you.
Okay, good evening. My name is Captain Vale Min. I'm from the Kaimuki Fire Station. So information previously requested is firework incidents. There was one reported fireworks incidents island-wide from July 4th, 0800 to July 5th, 0800. Incident statistics for July 2025, 0 structure fires, 0 brush fires, 0 nuisance fires, 0 cooking fires, and 3 activated alarms. That means no fire. Emergencies, 57 medical emergencies, 1 motor vehicle collision with pedestrian, 3 motor vehicle crash collisions, 0 mountain rescues, 0 ocean rescues, and 1 hazardous materials incident. Okay, our fire safety tips and announcements for the month is concerning emergency notifications and resources. So understanding how you'll be alerted during urgent emergencies and knowing where to find accurate official information is a key part of being prepared. Learn more at honolulu.gov/dem/stay-informed. So alert methods, opt-in alert methods. These notify individuals who have signed up to receive alerts via text, email, or app push notification based on user preference. Alerts are not sent based on location. Number 1, systems include HNL Alert and official government social media. Number 2, sign up at hnlalert.gov to receive notifications. Alerts may be shared by official city, state, and trusted partner accounts. Public alert and warning systems. These systems deliver urgent, life-saving information during immediate threats to public safety. In Hawaii, this includes, number 1, the EAS, which stands for Emergency Alert System. Number 2, wireless emergency alert systems. And number 3, outdoor warning sirens, depending on the emergency. 1 or more of these systems may be activated. Any questions?
All right, thank you very much, Captain. Any
Thank you, guys.
questions for the Honolulu Fire Department from the board? All right, from the public? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming down. All right, our next report is from the Honolulu Police Department.
Hi, good evening. Lieutenant Nishimura representing HPD District 7, East Honolulu. The following are the statistics for the month of July. Motor vehicle theft, 9. Burglary, 13. Theft, 20. UEMV, 12. And total calls for service were 5,662. Our safety tip for the month is we'd like to echo our partners at HFD with regards to the information that you can receive regarding any type of incidents that may affect you in the city and county of Honolulu, which is hnlalert.gov. And through that, you can receive alerts about weather. And in light of some of the other recent incidents that we have with fires and like the tsunami warning that we had recently, but you can receive all the alerts and notifications via this app Again, it's hnlalert.gov, and that's the official notification for the city and county of Honolulu. But that's our report for the month. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. Any questions for the Honolulu Police Department from the board? Yeah, Calvin, go ahead.
Don? Okay. Lieutenant, since the tsunami warning that we had and the massive traffic, has HPD done a thorough review of how to avoid such a traffic mess?
Yes, I believe we are reviewing it internally with the different divisions. You know, throughout the island, the response was a little bit different, and the different traffic concerns or the different traffic, I guess, challenges and issues that came up were a little bit different, you know, throughout the island. So I know the department is looking at that. They'll be probably working with, I would assume that they'll be working with civil defense to come up with a plan to address each area specifically and how that will interact with all the other districts as traffic is again moving through the different side streets and the main thoroughfares of the city.
All right. Any other questions for the Honolulu Police Department from the board? All right. Seeing none, any questions from the public? All right. Seeing none, thank you very much, Lieutenant. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to move on to the community reports. First up is the Board of Water Supply. Is Lorna Heller online? Okay. I don't think she's on yet. So we'll move on to the Hawaii Bicycling League, a walk, bike, drive presentation from Paula Bender. Hi, Paula. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Curtis, can you run our video, please? It's just 3 minutes and 18 seconds. That's a different one. Okay. One of the things I'm going to emphasize is the Vulnerable Road Users Law, and thank you. Talk more about that when it's PAL.
Oh, does it have your voice recorded?
Yes, it does. Yes, this time it does, Curtis. Thank you. If you have it on quick player.
Presentation encourages road users to drive with aloha. The Walk Bike Drive program is funded by an HDOT grant to highlight the importance of pedestrian and bicycle safety on Hawaii's roads. Whether we walk, bike, or drive, safety is everyone's responsibility. The Vulnerable Road Users Law is part of a broader effort to enhance safety on Hawaii's roadways by addressing the risks faced by those traveling outside of motorized vehicles, such as pedestrians and cyclists. So far in 2025, the entire state has more than doubled its traffic fatalities over 2024. The average number of traffic deaths from 2014 through 2024 included 28 pedestrians, nearly 28 motorcycles and mopeds, 4 bicycles, and nearly 44 motor vehicles. Whether on foot, on a bike, or in a vehicle, commuters are a traveling ohana. We recognize license plates, stickers, and company logos. We merge with a wave, or better yet, a shaka. And when there is a crash, we learn just how close we are to each other. Here are a few things to keep in mind when sharing the road with cyclists. Respect the green bike boxes. That gives bicyclists a head start on a narrow section to reach the bike lane. Remember, when in a crash, the cyclist will always be more vulnerable no matter who was right legally. When passing, allow for 3 feet between your vehicle and a cyclist, even if it means waiting a few seconds to do it safely. Share when you see sharrows, which are placed where cyclists cannot safely drive on the shoulder of the road. What are cyclists telling you? Understand the road signals used by cyclists. Left arm pointed down or right arm behind back means the cyclist is stopping. Left arm outstretched means a cyclist needs to switch to the left lane or to make a left turn. Left arm pointed up or right arm outstretched indicates the cyclist is making a right turn. At a recent NOAA Hurricane Awareness meeting, HBL Executive Director Travis Council provided another reason bicycles make sense. During and following an emergency weather event, a human-powered bicycle is most reliable, especially if power outages persist, the internet is down, and roads are blocked to motor vehicles. Everyone has the right to be safe on Hawaii's roads. This precept in Hawaiian law originated with King Kamehameha I in 1797. The law was added to the state constitution in 1978. Please, kokua, make the right decisions. Driving with aloha means everyone has a great day. Please send your comments or questions to Walk Bike Drive Coordinator Paula Bender at paula@hbl.org. Mahalo.
So I wanted to bring to your attention the Vulnerable Road Users Law. When I first got this assignment, I was initially out to protect bicyclists and pedestrians. But now that we know that anybody outside of a vehicle, anybody outside of a car through a big truck is a vulnerable user, and that includes people on motorcycles and e-bikes, e-scooters, mopeds, including people who are doing wheelies on these scooters and motorcycles. And anyway, if you see this happening on the road, I bet you would feel like you're also a vulnerable user, even if you're in the car, because you're maybe surrounded or you're following somebody or someone behind you is pulling a wheelie. All I can say is that we all need to find our zen on the road, take a deep breath. If somebody is in front of you on their cycle or bicycle primarily, they're only in front of you for as long as they need to be, because they will get over on the shoulder or into the bike lane as fast as possible. They're probably getting into the lane if they need to pass a car that's parked there, an Amazon van, or the mail truck, something like that. We've had our 85th fatality today, and that's 54 for Oahu. And that is it's like another third over 2024 so far. And here we are, and it's August. Does anybody have any questions?
All right, thanks, Paula. Any questions for Paula from the board? Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question, and forgive me if this has already been done, but I was surprised at things I did not know about specific things in lanes, the green zones, never ever heard of the green zones. And years since I've looked at the rules about left turn, whatever, is there any effort to remind all driving adults about this kind of information, any kind of campaign, any way to get that information to refresh people's memories?
Probably only when they renew our license.
Well, it would be great if we could figure out some other way to do that.
I really think that we're back in the zone where tough love and that sort of thing. This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on a motorcycle or something. I agree. So I know I can't answer for all of them. I'm representing the Bicycle League, but we're all kind of scratching our heads because it seems like it's out of reach. And maybe parents who are buying these vehicles for their kids to get to school on time, that sort of thing, need to be more aware of what their kids are doing. The other thing I would like to remind you is last time I went to a neighborhood board meeting is that police cannot pursue, and we all know that. That's one of our laws. So if there's a speeding car, a police officer is not supposed to pursue. They will not pursue packs of kids on the e-bikes or on the mopeds doing their wheelies and things.
All right, any other questions for Paula, the Hawaii Bicycling League? Yeah, go ahead, James.
Hey, how's it? Thanks for coming. Thanks for the presentation.
Sure.
I think one of the biggest issues with the bike lanes is that the city planners, they try to take a vehicle-centric, area and then throw in bike lanes, very shoddy bike lanes. I used to live in Brazil. Their bike lanes were nice. They had a sidewalk, the bike path, and then a large, raised sidewalk, and then the normal road. Has the Hawaii Bicycle League ever tried to work with the council and make it, because if you look at Kapolei, sorry, my mind's going everywhere, but if you look at Kapolei, the new city, the so-called second city, they didn't incorporate bike lanes, they didn't incorporate bus lanes. And what they're going to do is they're going to go in a couple years from now, and then they're going to add everything, and it's going to mess up the traffic flow, and it's going to throw everyone off, make drivers angry. Has the Hawaii Bicycle League ever worked with City Council and tried to get something implemented where if you're designing a housing area or a new city, basically, where you have to incorporate, like with the stadium zone?
The answer is we work with City Department of Transportation, State Department of Transportation, which actually sponsors this presentation. And they are working with them on things like safe streets.
It just seems like it would make more sense to plan an area with these already implemented instead of coming back years later and trying to remodify and spending millions and millions of more dollars
Sure.
on a really shoddy system. Because I like bikes too, but I'm afraid I've ridden Bicky from Waikiki up here to Kaimuki, and it's kind of scary. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was just curious.
My name is Sean Cagle, by the way, new to the board. I ride my bike all the time. I'm very grateful for the league for helping out and getting lanes. I will say this much, and I hear what you're saying, but we're working backwards. The city's already been built. You know what I mean? It's like, what can you do except work with what already exists? You can't tear it down and redo the whole thing. I'd rather have these bike lanes than not. My son and I both ride our bikes to get him to school. I ride to work. Those bike lanes really are helpful. As much as in a perfect world, we would have designated bike lanes on every road and every part of Honolulu. We're just talking about over 100 years of a city existence and bike lanes coming into effect now. So it's a cultural thing, I would say, and we're trying to build a culture. At least I see you guys doing that. I try just to ride my bike and be out there and be noticed on those bike lanes. But it's we're coming from behind, or at least the league is, but even as a bike rider, we're coming from behind and we're trying to fit it in where we can. If more people rode bikes, people would be a lot happier. Get out of traffic. So
Certainly is a lot cheaper when it comes to gas.
All right. Any last question for Paula and the Hawaii Bicycling League? All right, from anyone? All right, if not, thank you very much. Paula, appreciate it. All right, so we will move on to the another presentation on multimodal transportation from Eric McCutcheon, his monthly presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Paula. So I've been sharing about our right to be safe on our streets, no matter what you're doing. And I'm going to touch, thank you very much, on a bunch of things that Paula talked about. We'll just take maybe a little deeper dive on some of these ideas. So tonight we're called Safer Cars, but safer cars for whom is what we'll be looking at. So on screen, you see Nicole. She was in a pretty horrible accident. She was the sole occupant of that car, rolled over 6 times on the highway, ended up on its roof, and she walked away with a cut tongue and a sprained wrist. So she had a bit of luck and a little bit of a safe car. It's good she was not, and that car was a Honda HR-V, by the way. It's good she was not in one of these 3. These 3 are the unsafest cars. They have the greatest fatality rate per motor vehicle mile that we have. Hyundai Venue, Chevy Corvette, Mitsubishi Mirage. So if you're in one, be careful. If you're around one, be careful. Okay, but yeah. Some good news though. There's two graphs on the board here. This trending blue one on the right. That trending blue one on the right, again, those vehicle miles traveled, those VMTs, in the tens of billions over the past decades here in the United States. I mean, we are putting some serious miles in our vehicles here in the US. Even better, this red graph on the left. Okay, sadly, it's fatalities, but spectacularly, look at the decrease in fatalities for whom? Occupants in those cars. Occupants in those cars. Just no matter the increase in those miles, look at that decrease in fatalities for the occupants of those cars. Next slide. So what are some of the cars that are keeping these occupants safe right now? Hyundai Ioniq, the Kia EV6, and a Ford Mustang. Yeah. Okay, if you're in those cars, you're feeling pretty safe. Yeah, so be happy. That's kind of nice. All right. Sadly, I'm going to have to show you another trending graph. These are the non-occupants, the people outside of those vehicles. This is the increase in pedestrian fatalities over the past year. That's on a distinct increase, isn't it? And the title of this graph kind of links it with a graph that looks very similar, showing the sales of new large cars. Some examples, the F-Series Fords, F-150, 250, 350, Tahoe Expedition, Chevy Tahoe, the Denali. You know, they are pretty big cars. There's a correlation for pedestrian fatalities, and not just pedestrians, but again, non-occupants. Hold on one second, Curtis. Thank you. Well, let's see. We have the same trend of new large cars being sold in Hawaii. And again, as Paula mentioned, this was the printout today of how we're doing. And again, unfortunately, 85 fatalities statewide. It was 62 at this time last year. 54 fatalities on Oahu. It was only 25 at this time last year. And I know this is not the best way to show it, but motor vehicles, there are definitely occupants, unfortunately, dying on our streets. But most of the fatalities are non-occupants. They were not in the car. They were on the street, biking, wheelchairs, walking, segways, skateboarding, all the other non-occupants. Electric bikes, for sure. So just to counter that with a little good news, and for us here, Kaimuki Vision Zero, again, we're hoping to have 0 fatalities in the state of Hawaii. We're going to focus on Kaimuki. And as far as I know, with the one caveat, we were still Vision Zero as of last night, right? There was a critical moped accident on Sierra Wilhelmina last night. So let's all hope right now that that individual is recovering and we keep Kaimuki Vision Zero. All right. So what's going on though to protect not only the occupants of the car, but the non-occupants, the rest of us on the road? Well, here's some alphabet soup for you all. Okay. So the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration writes the, I need my cheat sheet myself, Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. And they are coming up with the NCAP, the new car assessment program to protect, as Paula shared with us, everyone knows this now, vulnerable road users. So what are these ideas that they're doing to not just to protect the occupant, but the rest of us on the road? Next slide. All right, that left side, ADAT, automated driver assistance technology. You've got automatic braking. You've got lane keeping assist. You've got back cameras. You've got side cameras for lane keeping and being ready. You've got driver assistance technology. Okay, in the middle one, you've got the concept of crash worthiness. Kind of an oxymoron, crash worthiness. Here, the idea is the shape, especially of the front of the car, makes a huge difference in survival. So, at about 30 inches off the ground, the bumper and the leading edge of the hood of your car and the crush worthiness, the crumpliness of the bumper and the hood of your car makes a difference to about 40 inches off the ground. It's kind of a benchmark risk zone that we accept for cars. But with every increment above that 40 inches, the risk to vulnerable road users rises tremendously. Any guesses what this mark is right here? That's the height of the leading edge of an F-series truck hood. And finally, crash test dummies, our driver dummies, are not so dumb anymore, right? They are just getting such a tremendous amount of new data from reactions, from driver impairment, from driver action, that they're making these cars absolutely safer, both for driver, occupant, and vulnerable road users. So if you are going to buy, sell, look at, be around a new car, check out the shape of the cars that are most likely to get the 5-star rating with the NCAP, the new car rating system. Last slide. Toyota Corollas and Camrys, Honda Civics and Accords, Subaru Foresters and Imprezas, and BMW, for example, 5 Series. Just something for you to think about. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks very much, Art. Appreciate it. Any questions for Eric from the board? Yeah, Carol.
Those last few two cars, were they good cars or bad cars? I missed the beginning.
They are excellent cars right now, and they are striving to meet the new standard of safety that's probably not going to roll out until about 2029, but by incorporating the safety items that I showed you.
All right. Any other questions for Eric? Yeah, Sean.
In regards to roadway fatalities here on the island, I know we have a number 50, I forgot what the number was, 54, something like that. Is there a breakdown for time, cause, things like that, that we can see? So are a lot of these fatalities in the evening? Are they DUI related? Are a lot of these fatalities, we talked about maybe people doing wheelies in the street. We see a lot of those individuals out there. Do we get a breakdown as of what that fatality looked like, the cause and the circumstances around it?
I guess my answer would be there's never enough data. One of the ideas to improve road safety, road design, is to get that data. Is it lighting? Is it time? Is it width of road? Where is it happening? Intersections? So there is data out there. With respect to these exact ones, I can give you a resource that will show city and county information, state information, national information that has some of that. And Paula?
On the HPD website, they have a media page. And for each accident, they have a synopsis of what happened. And I wish I could tell you what that one is, but it's easy to find. And so I've been watching the page for the motorcyclist who just died out in Eva Beach, and she got hit. Well, she made a turn and she didn't get hit by anybody. She just lost control of her motorcycle. But there was another one out there, and I was watching it for a couple of days to see if this person was going to die, and they did. So that's pretty accurate. So HPD is taking care of that sort of thing.
All right, thank you. All right, so last question from Becky. Becky?
Hi, Eric. Thanks so much for your presentation. You obviously put a lot of work into it with the graphics and everything. So thank you for that. I was in a collision a couple months ago. So I was just curious on your scale of safe cars and not safe cars. Thinking about buying a new car sometime soon because my car payments are almost done on my Prius. But I was wondering, one, how does the Prius stand up to safety? Two, how about Jeeps? They're very boxy and they're, army oriented and whatnot. I'm looking at this new Jeep with the bed in the back. And then I also love these tiny K cars that there's a dealership, they're popular in Japan and it seems like they're popular here. There's a dealership on Wailai, those little Japanese cars on the other side. And I used to live in Japan and I used to drive on that side and I had a little car and I loved it. So I'm kind of thinking about that. So how do those measure up and, what would you recommend?
Let's see. Let me say, I'm surprised. I thought somebody was going to say, well, what about Teslas? Not looking at you guys. I really focused just on the data for my presentation. There's just tons of information out there. So I don't want to misspeak and say where Prius fits on the safety rating. I'm just going to encourage you to look it up online. So sorry, both that and the Jeep. K cars, we talked about here a while back. These small right-hand drive, generally Japanese imports. Generally, they have to be 20 years old to come to be imported into the United States. So generally, their safety tech is absolute bottom level. So also the right-hand drive and a left-hand drive culture. Personally, I think is a little risky, but they are phenomenally popular. I'm not hearing about K cars getting in a lot of accidents, but I would, my own opinion, I can't imagine that they would be a particularly safe car to be in for occupants. They have easy visibility for the road though, for outside users. Does that help?
Yeah, I want a K car though.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. We're going to have to move on. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. All right. So we will move on to a status update on the Maumai Part Q Dojo from Bob DeWitt. Bob, welcome.
Hi, good evening. Not a lot of update. As I reported, maybe the last time I came here, we did conclude the agreement with the city, a partnership between the city and our private foundation, where the city will make land available and our private foundation will fund the construction and the operation of the Japanese archery range or Kyudojo. The intervening couple of months have been spent now working with the bureaucracy, figuring out what the process is to move forward in terms of the things we have to do to get a building permit. And the significant step that we're on now, just sort of figured out, is the specifics of the environmental assessment that we need to do. So we do need to do one. We have hired consultants to do that. And the hope is within a few weeks, we will be formally sending out letters to this board, to the neighbors, to the relevant agencies to formally solicit feedback to incorporate that in the process. So we're moving forward. You'll probably see this formal solicitation for feedback in the relatively near future, and the bureaucracy grinds on. Any questions?
All right, thanks, Bob. Any questions for Bob DeWitts on the Q Dojo from the board or from the public? All right, if not, thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate the updates. All right, so I'm going to circle back, see if Lorna Heller is online for the Board of Water Supply. Curtis, do you see anything? Okay. All right, so we will move on to the elected official reports. First off is Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative. Let's see, is Brian McKee online?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, terrific. Thanks very much. So before I get going, what is the officially endorsed Kaimuki Neighborhood Board vehicle again? And does the board get swag like board shirts or anything like that from the manufacturer? No?
Yeah, we've had shirts in the past. So
I'm
yeah.
just kidding. You know, everybody's decked out in like Honda gear or something. Okay, well, let me get with it. So the mayor visited Japan. He got back a couple of weeks ago. He visited our sister cities, had a great time, showed the flag, did us proud. I'd like to mention that the city has made a major land acquisition on South Beretania to support future Honolulu Police Department operations. He announced some additions to the city leadership team. We had our first cabinet meeting this morning, and Assistant Zoo Director for the Honolulu Zoo, Jackie Peeler, was introduced along with the new director of MOCA. MOCA is the Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts, and that is Jennifer Santos. So she joined us, and that was pretty cool. I'd like to mention the demolition begins at 1615 Alawai Boulevard, so be looking for that. The city is preparing to build a new affordable housing complex on that property. And then a massive new solar canopy you'll be seeing at the Alawai Golf Course parking lot. They're going to be keeping cars cool over there and also powering the clubhouse and other, kind of buyback, power that's, over and above what is needed. The city's also partnered with Johnson Controls to install a whole bunch of PV panel projects. I don't know if anybody's noticed them in the city, but the bus terminals and the joint management center downtown, you'll see a lot of PV panels where you haven't been seeing them. A lot of places that were empty lots now have coverage, and they're also converting to more efficient lighting in an effort to save, city electric bills. Let's see. And then members of the Honolulu Youth Commission discussed a wide range of topics at the mayor during a meeting in July. And as always, you can get the latest version of the mayor's newsletter. It can be found online at https://www.honolulu.gov, mayor/newsletter. So I'm available for any questions that might come up.
All right, thanks, Brian. Any questions or comments for the mayor's representative from the board or from the public?
Hi, Brian. Sorry, you can't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I just have a question about Queen Theater, because maybe about a year ago or so, we had gotten into the process for condemnation, and I think they were at the negotiation stage, and I wasn't sure if that's handled by the mayor's office or is that city council. So I don't know if this is a better question for Tommy's office when they get up or where it's at, but I was just wondering for an update. And I just wanted to know, like a couple of years ago, I was not happy to see that a vape shop had opened there on Waialae by Queen Theater. And we were told by the owners it was just a temporary tenant, short lease, and there's going to be, of course, when I'm talking, you want something. Yeah, take the cookie. My daughter. So I was disappointed to see that they have a more permanent sign there. for the vape shop. And I think it's problematic because there's so many kids in and around that area taking like martial arts class, dance class, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I was hopeful that we were getting to a position where this space could be the culture and arts thing. And you mentioned you have this new director, and I heard about it on the radio, and it was really promising, it seemed. And it seemed like taking over that theater would work well with the city's efforts in culture and arts. So I was just wondering if there's any update. I don't know if you have any from the mayor's office or if we have to wait for city council. But just wanted to put that out.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit trouble hearing this. So you're saying that there's a vape shop that's open and you were unhappy with where it went, and we're trying to communicate that, and then they said, don't worry about it, it's not permanent, and now you're afraid that maybe it is permanent. Is that the gist?
Well, that's a piece of my concern. But the whole thing, the theater was going through condemnation proceedings, and I had testified at city council, and it seemed like we got to a point where we're moving forward, and now there's the negotiation for the just compensation on the eminent domain. And so that was a while ago, and I just don't know where things are. And I remember seeing the last newspaper article, and I thought the newspaper article was strange. It gave the impression that it's still up in the air, but my understanding of the process is that it's done, and now it's in a new phase of negotiating the compensation, the just compensation.
Okay, Becky, do you have an address that I can write down and do some research and find out? I don't know if this would go to planning and permitting or
Sure,
city council or.
I think my address is on the neighborhood commission site, but you can use Becky G for Kaimuki. Becky G FOR at Gmail. I'm using that for this stuff.
Okay, let me try and get an update on this. Like I said, offhand, I'm not sure what department would be in charge of this. But if it's been in front of the city council already, it'd probably be out there. I could probably find it that way.
Yeah. And I just, like I said, we were led to believe like the vape shops, that's just temporary. We're going to get a better tenant, and now it looks like they're just like setting roots. And,
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I can try and get to the bottom of it for you. Offhand, I'm not sure, but let me get back to the office tomorrow and I'll do a little research.
Okay, great. Thanks, Brian.
Sure.
All right. Thanks, Becky. Any other questions for the mayor's representative? All right. Laurie Yamada, go ahead.
Yeah.
Laurie, I think you're muted.
Okay, so I'd like to thank City app Honolulu 311. I love it. What I did was I reported this my stop sign, that I look at it almost every day. It was full of graffiti and stuff like that. It needed to be replaced for a long time. So I figured, well, okay, since the other sign on the other street, on the end of the street on YLI and 15 was missing, the signs, the cross signs for the on top of their stop sign was missing. So I figured, okay, now's the time to report. So I did. I reported it and took pictures, and in 2 weeks it was done. 2 weeks.
That's great news. I love to hear stuff like that. We had an employee whose friend lived where there was illegal dumping all the time, up on the very end by Punch Bowl of Alapai, and reported the illegal dumping through the same venue that you did, and within 2 days it got picked up. So that seems to be working pretty well so far.
Yeah, and also there's another report I did was in Maumai Nature Park on the top of the Cocoa Drive side. People's been dumping there, and they're still doing it. I already reported it twice, so I think somebody's thinking it's a legal dumping place for them. So there's rubbish at the same place again. I just checked today. So thank you so much.
Oh,
good job. I love it.
Thanks, Lord. Appreciate it. I'll pass that along.
Thank you.
Okay. Brian, I do have a comment for you that's passed on from Amy Brown. Amy, I don't know if you're online or you're present. Oh, Amy, do you want to raise your concern with the mayor's representative here, if you don't mind coming up?
Yeah, hi. We're all familiar with the intersection that has a lot of accidents. and that's Waialae on 16th. And so the Director of Public Safety suggested a solution that I want to share with you now. And that's to add a left-hand turn arrow on 16th Mackay, facing Mackay, but not on the other side. Make the other side wait, because you can't have both, because it's a one lane. So if people are backed up on 16th as they are in the morning, and sometimes in the evening, and get frustrated and push the gun or hesitate, that causes the accidents. And so if you allow this long line of cars and to reduce the buildup of frustration, just allow for just a little time them to make a left-hand turn, a straight hand progress, and then or a right-hand turn, and then let the other side go Mackay. And so we already have 2 left-hand signals on the main road on Waialae. And so I just wanted to add that, and I don't see anything wrong with it. And I think it would work.
Well, I can go ahead and mention that to DTS and see what Roger has to say about that. Typically, when we get suggestions like this, it takes an investigation by his group. You know, they have to take a look at the traffic pattern and send some engineers out to look at it. Maybe they've already done that in this case, so I can find out what a status is and then bring it back to this group at our next meeting.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm not sure. It seems like we're talking about traffic, and I've been wanting to bring this up for so long. I live on Mauna Loa Avenue, and there's no one here from DTS, but on 12th and Mauna Loa, I don't know if you're familiar. It's a very busy intersection. It's a T shape. I was going to take a picture of it. People speed down when they make a turn down to Mauna Loa, and there's no speed limit sign from 12th Avenue to almost 9th Avenue. It's a downhill slope on Mauna Loa Avenue. And people speed like freeway speeds. I'm talking 45 miles an hour and more. And I live there, and ironically, there's a 25 speed limit sign on the opposite side, which is only like a half a block from the stop sign, which is almost useless. And I'm not sure if they made a mistake, if that sign should have been on the other side where it goes downhill. So that's from 12th Avenue to almost 9th Avenue where Liho School is. I just wanted to bring that up. I don't think it costs much to put a stop sign there.
Yeah, I can bring that up again with Roger. I would say that if there is no street sign, I think there is a legal posted speed limit that people are obviously exceeding anyway. So if the police wanted to enforce that or leave somebody there, they could still ticket people. But I guess your point is maybe if there was a speed limit sign, people would pay attention to it more and maybe watch their speed just because of the sign. Not sure.
Yeah, because it's a downhill slope from 12th Avenue on Mauna Loa. It's a downhill, and people just speed all the way down. There's no speed limit sign. You can take a drive and see that it's so obvious.
Okay, well, I'll mention it. Again, I think that isn't there a standard speed limit of 25 miles an hour on regular roads, and they're thinking about moving that down to 20 now. So you could still enforce that, but yeah, I realize, I mean, there's a lot of, I live in Hawaii Kai, and we've got people just zooming around at full freeway speeds in all kinds of roads.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much, Brian, for the report and for taking those items back. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to move on to City Council Chair Tommy Waters' office.
Hi, good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Tasha Luke. I'm from Chair Tommy Waters' office. I emailed our August newsletter earlier today, and I do have just a few items that our office has been following up on. Recently, a constituent reported a contractor left a waste runoff of concrete slurry down Cocoa Head Avenue. DPP investigated, and the contractor cleaned up the runoff and visible residue. Another constituent reported the street name signs on Pa'ahana Street and Mauna Loa Avenue were missing. The Department of Facility Maintenance replaced the signs last month. And at our Kaimuki Town Hall last month, several people voiced their concerns regarding the derelict conditions at the DOE facility on 22nd Avenue. That included dead trees and large debris that blocked the sidewalk, forcing pedestrians to walk on the roadway. I do want to let everyone know that we are currently working with Representative Tina Grandinetta's office on some solutions. I also did take note of the question regarding Queen Theater. I don't know the answer offhand, but I will also follow up tomorrow as well. And with that, I'm happy to take back any questions or concerns to Chair Waters.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions or comments for Chair Waters' office? From the board or the public? All right, seeing none, thank you very much. Thanks for the report.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to Governor Josh Green's representative. Is Amanda Stevens online? I don't believe so. Okay, so yeah, Calvin, go ahead.
Chair, in the absence of the representative, could I raise a question to have it conveyed?
Sure.
So we could get a response back?
Certainly.
Next one. Okay. I wrote it down just a second. In a Silverbeat article yesterday, there was an article about inoperable emergency sirens, some of which are in need of replacement or repair. Because the article said there's a siren in our nearby Pololo, has been not working for 2 years with no indication of repair or replacement. And I believe there's another one here in our neighborhood district. Could the Kaimuki Neighborhood Board pose to the question to Governor's representative on what the timeline is for the repair or replacement of inoperable sirens? And that's island-wide. There's a bunch. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. And I'll add that I believe the article also noted that there is an inoperable siren at Monolati Park as well. So that's another one within our community too. So we'll have that question posed in the video record, and hopefully we'll get a response from the state in the next meeting. Thank you. Thanks, Calvin. All right, we'll move on to Senator Stanley Chang's office. Okay. Let's see, is Senator Lesihara online or his office? Okay. We'll move on to Representative Tina Grandinetti or her representative. Okay. And we'll go on to Representative Jackson Sayama or his representative. Representative, are you online?
Yes, I am. So another event, but I guess I'm not going to make it. So my update this time around is that I am part of a paid family leave working group that we just began meeting. We are helping the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations set parameters for an actuarial study that we have financed during the past legislative session to basically come up with hard numbers on what a paid family leave legislation would cost the state and how the state might be able to finance this particular program. So we are really excited to get started on this really important work to support not only the employees, but their families, as well as the employers, because we believe in theory that a paid family leave policy would be better than the current systems, patchwork systems that we have, and it will be cheaper too. So this is the work that I'll be focusing on for now from my labor committee. As for community issues, I continue to work with constituents as well as Department of Land and Natural Resources and Department of Education to address feral chicken issues around Kaimuki. So we don't have a whole lot of chickens running around the streets as well as the school properties. But aside from that, I don't think we've received too many concerns. Oh, one thing, this is more related to Pololo, but during the tsunami warning we have really been concerned about the inoperable emergency siren in Pololo District Park, which would notify also the Kaimuki neighborhood. So I have gotten conflicting communications from the Hawaii's Emergency Management Agency about how quickly this siren would be repaired. First, I got within 2 months. Another time I got, it'll take till next year. So hopefully sooner the better, but I'll keep the board notified on the progress of the repair as well. And with that, I am available for questions.
All right, thanks very much, Representative Sayama. And I'm not sure if you heard the prior discussion, but there also appears to be an inoperable siren at Maunalani Park as well.
Yeah.
Just for your information. All right, any questions for Representative Sayama's office from the board or the public? I see Becky.
Hi,
Becky,
Brian. I have a
go ahead.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Rep, you mentioned your work on the paid family leave and that there's some studies. In my recollection, there were at least 2 other studies. I don't know if it was LRB that did it or, who was involved, but maybe in the last 15 years, there were 2 studies, perhaps more. So with the current study that you just mentioned, what's going to be different about this study? Like what other information do you expect we're going to see that we haven't already seen in the other studies? Because those other studies were pretty persuasive, I thought, and just saying we need to get a family leave program going. So will anything be different with this study? And then my understanding is that paid family leave just gets stuck in the House in the Finance Committee. And do you have any prognosis? Are we going to see anything different with proposals, or are we going to get stalled in finance again? And how much influence do you have in the Finance Committee to get this over to the Senate? And then when we get the Senate version, how can we get this across the finish line? What's your plan?
No, thank you, Becky. So let me start, I guess, from back to front. Regarding your question about the House Finance Committee, we do have a new finance chair, Representative Chris Todd from Hilo, who's replacing Representative Kyle Yamashita. So I have yet to have a conversation with regards to his position on paid family leave and his degree of support. My instinct is that he would be supportive, but because he's coming into this really large and complicated job, it might not be his top priority. But I have yet to have, again, a discussion with him on this as he acclimates to his new position. Now, going back to your concern and question about the study. Yeah, you are absolutely correct. In fact, there have been previously 3 studies conducted by various entities. LRB, the Legislative Reference Bureau, was one of them. The Coalition on Women's Rights, led by HCAN, was another. I don't remember the oldest one. That was done, I think, early 2000s. But the difference between those studies and this one is that DIR, Department of Labor and Industrial Relations, the agency which would be in charge of administering this program, didn't feel that the previous studies accurately reflected unique financial and legal restraints of Hawaii's environment. Specifically, it didn't really examine how PFL will interact with the prepaid healthcare law. There are federal ERISA exemptions that PFL would conflict with, as well as other state-run programs that currently deal with paid family leave, like temporary disability insurance, TDI, workers' comp, and Kupuna Caregivers Program. So this new study would examine all these legal and financial components and then produce hard numbers as to what these benefits would be under, again, this environment. So I think that's the difference between this new study and all the older studies, which, by the way, if I might add, were really good. They did a great job comparing the different paid family leave programs in the different 13 states as well as Washington, D.C. You know, it is personally frustrating that we're doing another study, the timeline a bit, but the silver lining is that this is the only thing that DLIR needs to fully get on board. And if that's what it's going to take, then, you know, that's the compromise that the legislature has taken. So we are going to continue to support this and expedite this process as quick as we can.
Okay, so with a new finance chair, it seems like this is a really good opportunity to start fresh anew. I think Rep. Todd has kids. I'm not sure. So hopefully he's amenable to this. A former chair, I don't think had kids. And so because we're in the interim, we've got a couple months before the session starts and you guys are working on your study. Can we count on you to talk to the new chair about this and to gauge his support? And would you be able to report back to us next month?
Absolutely. I would caveat by saying that, you know, private conversations that I would have with Chair Todd, if he says it's okay to, you know, share certain information, I will be more than happy to share it with the board. If he's feeling hesitant and, you know, feels a little neutral, then, you know, I'll respect, you know, his wishes in terms of his privacy. But again, I will be having conversations with Chair Todd on this issue. Definitely, I have made it clear that this is my committee's priority issue going into the next legislative session.
Okay, now if it'll help, you can put it on me and just say you have a constituent who wants to know what Chair Todd thinks on this issue. And if you wanted to fashion a response to me that's public, then I'm cool with that. I'd love to hear what he thinks. The official line. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Becky. Any other questions for Representative Sayama? All right. Seeing none. Thank you very much, Representative. Appreciate the report.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Have a good night.
Great. Good night. We're gonna move on to U.S. Congressman Ed Case's office. Is there a representative online? All right. Seeing none, I'll circle back quickly and see if we have representatives from Senator Chang's office, Senator Ihara's office, or Representative Grandanetti's office. All right. Seeing none. Okay. So we will move on to community concerns from residents. This is an opportunity for residents in our community to express any concerns or questions. As a reminder, residents, not board members, can share comments and concerns that are not listed on the agenda. And per the Sunshine Law, concerns not on the agenda may be presented, but the board cannot take any action at this time. Are there any community concerns from the public this evening? All right, seeing none, moving right along. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Sarah Chinen. So I think last month I brought up the problem of chickens in the neighborhood. So there were like one mother hen and 10 chicks, and they became teenagers, and there was another mother hen with more chicks. And I called the Humane Society. They don't do anything. I called some city department. They said, sorry, you can call people who want to rescue these animals, so I took it upon myself. Boy, can I say this in public? So anyway, there was this young boy, and I said, catch the mother hen and her, and he did. And so they put him in 2 buckets, the mother in one bucket, the baby's in another bucket. And I said, just take it to a park and dump him. And you know, we haven't had chickens since. So my advice to everyone, put them in buckets, dump them at the park.
All right, well, thank you.
Which park was that?
I'm not sure you want to mention the park, right? All right. Okay, any other community concerns or issues this evening? All right, seeing none. All right, we'll move right along to board business. First item of business is a discussion and consideration of a resolution in response to a letter dated Monday, April 21st, 2025, from the City and County of Honolulu Department of Parks and Recreation, requesting community input regarding which parks or park areas to allow for leashed dogs. I will turn it over to Audrey Abe, who has drafted a draft proposed resolution on this issue.
Hi, thank you for your consideration. We've been working on this for a while. And first of all, dogs have been a part of my family for many years, and they have been a blessing. And I've also been involved in youth sports for many years, involving soccer, softball, basketball, volleyball, etc. And there is a high demand for sports parks in quotes, which involve team sports practices, especially for our youth in urban Honolulu, where it's very densely populated. This resolution focuses on protecting four very well-used sports parks in our neighborhood, and they're utilized by children and adults from all over Oahu. These four sports parks are the very few in our neighborhood and in urban Honolulu area, and they currently do not allow dogs. And due to safety and health issues, and just purely lack of land area in these parks for sports activities, we encourage to keep it that way. We encourage DPR to consider others non-sports parks which have more available land area, and then to have possibly more fenced-in areas for dogs to roam freely in a safer environment for everyone. Dogs tend to run into the streets, so I think sports parks are attractive because there's fencing around it usually. At this time, though, I'd like to ask Juanita to her comments on this. She has spoken to a lot of people in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Juanita Liu, and I belong to the Joint Transportation Committee of Neighborhood Boards 4 and 5. And that's not just Kaimuki, but also the Diamond Head, Kapahulu, St. Louis Neighborhood Board. And I represent myself and also another committee member, Leolani Iwaki. And we looked at this situation, and the information that was provided was for city parks only. But in order to get a more comprehensive look at the situation of parks that allow dogs and do not allow dogs, we also added in our general East Honolulu area, the state parks as well as private parks like HOA-run parks. And we found that basically about almost 80% of all of these parks do allow dogs based on our online research. So in looking at the situation, actually, we decided to focus on the parks where we really do not want dogs, and these are the sports parks. And in looking at this situation, we realized that these parks not only host children from our community, but also from communities all over the islands. So we did a couple of things. One, we published an article, and this was published on Island Voices in the paper on July 10th. And this was to bring our issue to the general public and to see whether we would get any response. And I have to say that generally the responses were very positive. There were no dissenting or opposing views. And then we also sent this article along with our information basically to the 33 neighborhood boards, the chairs of all 33 neighborhood boards, and also received very positive response. One neighborhood board sent us their resolution that they had passed in May. And we were also urged to write a resolution and pass a resolution. Otherwise, our stand would not be necessarily heard. So therefore, this resolution has been drafted. And in fact, we were requested to send this resolution to the other neighborhood boards. So generally, I would like to say that we received generally very positive responses to this resolution. And I hope that you do pass it, because all of us have had children playing in sports and using these sports parks. We're asking for these 4 parks for the reasons specified in the resolution to remain dog-free. And another matter is we also suggested the creation of more fenced-in dog parks, because that's the real attraction. People want to take their dogs and let them run around in the park. They don't want to keep them on a leash. I mean, I'm sure you've witnessed that this doesn't work. So I'm very glad to have a chance to talk to Bob here, because we did think about Maumai Park. And because they are now building a facility there, including parking spaces, and they are working with DPR. So obviously, if you have 2 projects, such as an archery park, and perhaps that could be dovetailed with a fenced-in dog park, there will be economies, for example, in the planning and the permitting process, which for both projects takes a very long time, as Bob was telling us. And also there will be also economies in the use of facilities, because he said there's a fencing already existing by the Board of Water Supply, and they plan to put up some fencing. So obviously, if there could be some dovetailing with the facilities, as well as economies of use, the parking lot, I think that this could be a very propitious time to get together in collaborating with DPR with this project to get these 2 projects accomplished. And, I don't know what's involved in all of that, but hopefully there would be economies of time and money saved if these 2 were done together. Okay, any questions?
I'm sorry, just one more quick point, because I've been to all these parks. I drive by there all the time, but I live across Kapolona Park, which is similar to the other parks, about 5.5 acres. And I see a lot of the sports and the dogs, and I love all those dogs, but there's a lot of dog attacks, more frequent than you can imagine. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was standing by a dog that just got attacked right by the fence in the park. But also the feces and the urine, and a lot of these sports are ball sports like soccer and things like that. And I see the kids picking it up, the balls, and I've heard them say that there are feces in the park, and I'm just concerned about the health issues and for the safety of their children. Thank you.
Amy, if you could just hold that thought real quick. I'm going to make a suggestion, ask Curtis. Curtis, if you don't mind putting up the resolution and sharing the resolution on the screen. And then Audrey, if you don't mind just kind of summarizing the major terms you have on here in the resolution. I'm not sure everybody's actually seen it, so.
Okay. Basically, we describe the sports park, what it is, primarily for team sports, organized sports practices, games. And these are the 4 parks that are listed. There's Kaimuki Community, Kapolona, Kilauea District Park. They're all in our neighborhood and heavily used. I mean, I talk to a lot of parents all the time. They come from Windward, Eva, they work in town, or the kids go to school in town. So really heavily used. And I've been through all of that. And so I use just an example of Kapolona Park, but basically emphasizing the safety for the children, especially because we drop them off thinking that they are safe. But some dogs, unfortunately, can be vicious. Most of them are not, and we encourage that the Parks and Rec consider the distinction between sports parks and just non-sports parks. And, you know, just examples like on 18th and Diamond Head, there's a dog park there for running around. And Triangle Park perhaps, or Maumai has a lot of land area. And I believe Alawai Park has a fenced-in park too now. I haven't seen it, but I read online that they have one. And so basically that's, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Amy, you had a comment? Go ahead.
I'm a dog lover, and I would like to request a resolution that Manalani Park at the top of Sierra Drive become a dog park between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. So we have a segmented time zone. And the reason that I ask you that is because it has been for 30 years. And that the people there, some of them, have actually added dirt to the park and evened it out. And they are also responsible for the sprinkler system that now has provided grass, all green grass throughout instead of in spotches. And I just want to say that 40% of Americans own a dog or a cat, and that they are an integral part of our lives. And we can't just say, just walk them down the sidewalk. And that parks should be open to everyone, and there should be no dog discrimination. And I just think that it's really important. And I want to request this resolution because the people there have been trying for decades. And, you know, to say that a dog is vicious, people are vicious. A few people are vicious too, but that doesn't make all people vicious. And that doesn't and shouldn't determine your behavior and response to them. And so I also want to say that for the most part, these dog people are very good at picking up everything of their dog. And that one dropping shouldn't basically ruin the whole crop. And so that's what I would like to do. Thank you, Chairman Clay.
Want to rebut on that. Thank you for your comments, though. But sports parks are heavily used. There are kids running around. In fact, a lot of them cannot even get practice times at these parks.
Because of dogs?
No, because there's just crowded. And what happens is, I mean, I hear them all the time. I walk those parks, and there are fishies, and they have balls running around, and you know. And I love dogs too. Most of the people I know walk their dogs in the street or outside the park like I do.
Yeah.
But I just want DPR to understand, you know, we can go on, but there is a distinction between parks, and there's very few of them left that are sports parks for kids. And I love kids too. My daughter played all the way to varsity, almost went to college sports. But, you know, I just think it's a precious thing, and there's not too many available. But there's a lot of other parks. We have a whole list. I don't know if they show it, of parks that can. Yeah,
I'm not talking about
Manalani,
this
I'm
park.
not familiar, you know, with.
Nobody is because hardly anybody goes.
Yeah, no, Manalani, yeah, okay, sure.
Thank you.
I'm not
That's all I'm
mentioning
asking.
Manalani.
That's what we're
Okay.
talking about.
Okay, sure. You can make a
Even though I lived on
resolution.
8th Avenue for 20 years, and I'm very familiar with a couple of them.
Yeah, no. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay.
I know Amy from the top of the hill. I take my dog up there too. And it's awesome. There's not a lot of people up there between 5. It's really like even pushing 6:30 later. We go up there, we all hang out. Everybody knows each other, and it's a great dog park. It's not even a dog park, but it's a great spot where it's community people from the hill. We get up there, it's close to home, and yeah, it is a great space. So, yeah.
Yeah, what I would suggest is that, you know, the Manalani Dog Park issue wasn't agendized, you know, for this particular resolution. But I would suggest, you know, suggesting or proposing a resolution at a subsequent
Or
meeting.
could we edit that one into this one?
You want to amend this
I
resolution?
want to amend that resolution.
Okay, well,
It's on the way.
we have yet to actually move to adopt the resolution. So let me do that first.
Okay.
Let me get a motion. let me get a motion. I'm sorry, let's move on.
Sorry, Brian, I had some comments and questions. If
Okay, yeah, hang on.
still that in
you know,
that state.
Yeah, hang on. So we're gonna, first of all, I think we need a motion to adopt the resolution. We need a second, then we can have further discussion on this. So I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution for the, that's been proposed on the sports parks. Is there a motion? Okay, James has moved. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded. Okay, any further discussion on this? Becky, you had a
Yeah,
question.
well, first I was it emailed to us? I was looking in the last email with this agenda and I didn't see the resolution attached to it. So I wanted to spend some more time reading it. So if someone could email it to me, that'd be helpful, or maybe put it in the chat. And then the speaker before, the community input speaker, she mentioned something that was on my mind is time, like timing. And I'm wondering if there's any way to incorporate like a scheduling or a block out period for dogs, because I was actually at Capilano Park this morning exercising and there was no one there. Couple of dog walkers came by, but there was no competition with, and that's very much a sports related park, and there wasn't any kids there that was an issue. So, most people walk their dogs before work and when they come home from work. I know coming home from work might be during like competition times, game times, but or maybe it could be like alternating days of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, dogs are paid between these hours. So I'm just wondering if this has been explored at all, because the reality is that people bring their dogs to the park even if they're not allowed. I mean, Mamalani is just an example of it, and everyone gets to it, and the authorities just look the other way. So in some ways, it just seems kind of futile to be doing all this stuff when we know that people are just going to take their dogs to their dog's favorite park anyways, and where they're going to see their doggy friends. So I don't know, just like the dose of reality, like how can we really incorporate what we know people, human nature, dog nature. And then the other thing I just wanted to say is that I used to take my dog past, but I used to take my dog to Hu'u Park, Kaimuki, the top of the hill by the fire station. And there was a gentleman that brought his Doberman there frequently, and he kept him off leash. And he would harass people hanging out the park, so they would leave so he could take the dog off leash, and then the dog would do its thing. And it was a Doberman, so it was a little scary to people. He was a fine dog. It was the owner that was a little scary. But I had to call the police on him because he harassed me and he harassed other women. And the police said, you can't come back here. And I saw him come back again and again. So that's like an issue. People will flout the law. And, the leash issue, I don't know. It just seems like there's rules that no one's following. And I'm glad that these efforts, and I appreciate your effort with this reso, Audrey. But I would love to see some sort of alternate scheduling timing thing considered. And so that's just my feedback. And I will likely abstain from voting on this because of that, because I want to see that discussion.
Okay, thanks, Becky. Any further discussion? Yeah, Sean, go ahead.
Are we allowed to add an amendment
Yeah, would
regarding?
you like to propose an amendment?
Yeah, so I'll back up Amy's idea that, Manalani Park between 5 and 7, if we can do that, be in a dog park,
Yeah, okay.
something like that.
Curtis, do you mind putting up the resolution again on the screen?
Becky, most of the children are in school now, so most of the sports activities happen after 2 o'clock or 2:30. And on the weekends, it could be all day long. But it is quite a bit used, and unfortunately, there's no cleaning service for dog waste on the park, and I think it's just, and also, because there are a lot of attacks, dog attacks. I think in just since the beginning of the year that I know of, 3 went into ER, dogs. They were attacked in the park. And just 2 weeks ago, like I said, I was standing there right outside the park and a dog from the park ran out and attacked my friend's dog. And I was standing right there. So I carry pepper spray. I mean, I really have to be cautious. And I'm not saying my dogs are part of my family. So I've had dogs since I was a kid. So I understand.
All right, thank you. All right, so we have a proposed amendment from Sean. I'm sorry, Sean, could you just state it again? Sorry, go ahead.
To add Mauna Lani Park as a dog park from 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay,
Just a limited time, because that's the only time we really go up there anyway.
okay. So it would be, I'll suggest that it be, that last be it further resolved, another be it further resolved, that Mauna Lani Park be designated as a dog park between the hours of 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock p.m. All right. I'd suggest that amendment.
Does that need to
Yeah.
be seconded? Because I would second it, even
Yeah,
though my
okay, so
dog's
there,
dead.
so my understanding, Curtis, do we have to vote on a motion to amend?
Yes, second from Madrick.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded
To adopt the resolution as amended.
as amended?
To adopt the resolution.
Okay, all right. All right, so it's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution as amended to add an additional, be it further resolved, to have Mauna Lani Park as a dog park between the hours of 5 o'clock p.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. All right, is there any further discussion? Yeah, go ahead. Jay.
That park you said is not a sports park, yeah? So
You tennis courts, basketball court, but then there's the grass field that might be. Oh, it might be like, oh, sorry. It might be 50 yards in length. It's rectangular and 25 yards wide.
yeah.
So there's no official practices up there. The ground, like Amy said, like people who take their dogs up there have actually done the work to make sure that the ground is level. There's actually grass growing for a long time. It was dry and cracked. And I know a lot of the people who go up there with their dogs had done a lot to make sure that the new sprinkler system was put in and the park was taken care of. So we love going up there. Yeah, there it is. There's no, like, I don't see, what would you call it? Organized sports up there. I take up my kids up there. They might go shoot hoops. They might play, but there's like no, you couldn't do a baseball practice. You couldn't do a football practice. It's just not that big.
I just wonder if it would be more beneficial for that as its own resolution and getting full support from the entire board. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be better as its own resolution, asking the city to, hey, can you designate this?
Yeah.
Instead of being lost in a blurb on this.
So I'll say, one or two things, however works best.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
new to the
I-
board. I really don't know the process all that well. Yeah. There's already a fence around it. Yeah, there's already a fence around it. That's why people like using it. Yeah. So.
I'll suggest this. It could be certainly be in this resolution, and if there's a need for a separate resolution with further detail, the board can certainly take it up, at a future date as well. So, all right. Yeah, go ahead.
I would just add a caution in the language for on leash, off leash. It's quite a hurdle for enforcement, city discussions statewide.
Okay. Further discussion? Does that need to be addressed? Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
I just want to add maybe a silly tiny thing, which is when I still had my dog, there were sports up there, but it was simply my ex-husband and my sons playing catch almost every evening. Okay, so it's not that there's no sports up there, and it's a really good place for.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
I was just curious about the actual hard copy of the reso.
Yeah, so it's on the Google Drive, Becky?
It's on the Google Drive. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the Google Drive. All right, any further discussion? Okay. Last word? All right. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution as amended. Do we need to take a roll call vote? No? Okay. So all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'm abstaining.
I abstain, Kelsey.
Okay, Becky and Kelsey abstain. All right, so the motion is adopted. Thank you. All right, so we will move on to the next item of board business, which is the approval of written summary for video record for Wednesday, July 16, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the written summary of video record? Okay, it's been moved by James. Is there a second? Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that video record is adopted. The next item of business is the approval of a correction to the Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 written summary of video record regarding the board's approval of the bus route 200 resolution. And as some background on this, the original version of the video record did not accurately reference the adoption of the bus route 200 resolution by the board. And I'll just read it out loud. The corrected version should read, Member Abe shared a draft resolution urging the Department of Transportation Services and the City and County of Honolulu to address the safety concerns of the newly installed bus route 200 that runs along portions of Aloha Avenue due to hilly terrain, creating blind spots, narrow street, no median lines and shoulder lines, basically no sidewalks and curbs, etc. Member Abe moved and Member Judy Ann Smith Kahani seconded, and there was a voice vote that unanimously adopted that resolution. So that is the proposed correction to the Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 written summary of video record. Is there a motion approving that correction? All right. Audrey moves. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that is approved. Thank you very much. All right, the last order of business is reports of board members attending other neighborhood board and public meetings. Has any member attended any other board meetings or public meetings that they'd like to report on? Calvin.
Yeah, I attended the town hall meeting sponsored by Chair Waters and Representative Grandanelli on July 23rd.
All right, great. Thank you. Any other attendance at board meetings or others? All right, seeing none. We'll move on to board announcements. The next meeting of the Kaimuki Neighborhood Board is scheduled for Wednesday, September 17th at 6:30 p.m. right here in person at the Kaimuki Public Library and online via WebEx. To request a meeting agenda item, please contact me at least 2 weeks prior to that. And Olelo does broadcast this meeting on channel 49 at 9:00 p.m. on the second Sunday of the month. All right, with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.